So, first things first, I'm just going to hide my level pieces. And what I'm going to do is create a collection for them, a folder for them.
Sorry, Shames.
Yes.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Are you uploading on?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
And it'll be on
YouTube.
Google.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just 'cause sometimes you should fit in here. So many tools. To
Oh,
use.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And now it's crashed. So we can all take a moment. Hey, we're good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is create a collection, a folder up here. Just right click on the scene collections and add a new collection just to hold my level. New collection. You can close that window if it's annoying you. And it's just a folder. I'll call it level 1. Then I can grab all my pieces. And just drag them into that little bucket and turn off the eye to hide it. Now they're in that folder, I'll just hide them. Next, I'm just going to create 2 objects from the Add menu, a mesh cube. I'll just move this out of the way. Oh, actually, I can put it up so it's on the floor by moving it up 1 on the Z. Move that out of the way. And I'll add a UV sphere as well. I'll move that up 1 on the Z axis. So what I'm going to do is start importing some images to create some image textures on these. So boxes and spheres are pretty easy to texture. And if you go to Moodle, you can find there are a couple of textures, Skullcraft 1, a crate texture, and a planet Earth texture. In week 4. So just download these 3. And then to bring these into our world is fairly easy. You can just drag and drop into the world to create reference images, and then also use them as textures. The base color of it. So there's our first texture. UV spheres automatically wrap planet textures around them. They're designed to take on long rotating textures. So to apply this to the sphere, I just need to go to my material properties down here create a material for it. New material. I'll name it Earth text. And then of course we can change the base color to whatever color we want, but we want to add an image texture in here. So I'll just say base color and click that little yellow dot. That'll expand out. So we have all kinds of procedurally generated textures, bricks, checkers, gradients, sky textures, wave textures. We want image texture. Image texture, and now it's gone black with no image loaded. And what we're going to do is open from where we've downloaded it. Right here, Earth text. Is the planet Earth. Now right now it's shading these faces flat. If we wanted to look a little bit more smooth, we just right click shade smooth and it will blend those faces into each other, make it appear more rounded. We could also increase the number of faces on it, subdivide it. Shade smooth, it appears a little smoother, but you can still see those points. We can of course go into edit mode and add more faces if we want. Subdivide, right click, subdivide. So, spheres pretty handy. They can take on textures that you apply just with sphere projection. Cube is slightly different. We can do the same process. We add a new texture to it, with the new for texture. I'll say crate text is the name. And again, same thing, base color, image texture. I'll go ahead and open the crate texture. open image. And you can see, I can see parts of that crate texture. The whole texture is not being displayed on the faces, which is what I want. So I basically want that on every side.
If you want to do like just one side, just select one side and then.
Oh no, there's an easier way. We can get it to project on all. What's your question, Brian?
I'm just missing the part of. It's not working. What did it do?
Are you in what? Are you in solid view or in material preview?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Move over.
Okay.
So yeah, what you're saying is true. We could select each face and apply it that way, but what we need to do is get our projection mapping working right. So on this one, on every single face, we're using sphere projection, so it's projecting onto each face the normal, the upward direction of each face. And it's doing that here, but it's taking the whole thing and wrapping it all around. We want to project onto each face independently using cube projection. And for that, we need to get into our UV editing, which isn't much. We just jump into edit mode. And you can see we have different UV projection modes under the UV model here. Smart UV, which will just take every face and flatten it down. Light Mac Pack, which puts them all in a grid. What we want is cube projection. So by default, the sphere projection is being applied to that sphere. The UV sphere comes with it already set up. Cube projection isn't set up for cubes, so we just select cube projection and we should see a better result. So edit mode, UV, cube projection, and now we have our actual crate. So I'm going to create a duplicate of this crate because I want to mess around with it. Object duplicate or Shift D. And that's a macro, so you see I'm in the move mode. I'm going to press X to lock it into the X axis to duplicate it right over here. So I duplicate it, Shift D, I press X to move it only on the X axis. So we can do some pretty fun things with this now. If I go back into edit mode, any new cube I add from my add cube mod here is going to have that same texture applied to it. I can draw new cubes. And you see it has it, and it doesn't have cube projection. But while it's selected, I can go UV, cube project again. And now we have another crate on a crate.
You said that there was a way to change the color of the crate?
I did. Didn't I?
Yes.
So, I think we have to get into... Nope. I mean, I suppose we could use a mix shader. So yeah, let me just create another crate. Under surface. Oh. Okay, so there'll be two ways of doing it. You either modify the texture outside of it, either in Figma or Photoshop or something to be a different color, or we can blend two shaders together, two colors, two textures. So under my surface right here, and what I've done is created another cube and made a new material, because I don't want to overwrite my cube material I have. New blank material called Mix Shader. And then instead of principled BSDF, I'm going to look for Mix Shader. So select that little green dot next to principled and select Mix Shader, and that'll give me two slots, two shaders that I can blend between.
Okay, and after that?
And after that, let's create two colors. Let's go diffuse for the first one. And we'll do another diffuse for the second one as well. So one of them's going to have an image texture, the other is going to have a color, and we'll blend between the color and the image texture. Another diffuse. So if I go red and blue, it's going to be purple because it's blending those two colors together. But instead of red, if I choose image texture again, and because the texture is already loaded in, I don't need to open it again. There's a little drop down. Crate text and earth text are already here. Now I got a blue cube because I'm halfway between the blue color, halfway between the crate texture. Any color I choose is going to be the blended color. And then this factor is how much you're blending between shader 1 and shader 2. Right now it's 50-50. So I bring it all the way to the left, it's 100% crate. I bring it all the way to the right, 100% green. So you can change the blend to have it more cratey or more greeny. Back in edit mode on this thing, I can actually create shapes. And then each time I just want to cube project. Just to make sure my projection is working. if I add a cylinder to this arrangement, then I want to use UV cylinder projection. Doesn't quite work.
To add the cube?
So this is the second cube I created. There's the green cube. I'll name these. Grade 1. So, if you just have a normal crate, I'll duplicate this. Wait, it was over here. We enter edit mode on this crate. Any new shape we create will have the same texture. Edit mode.
So we won't have to apply the crate image in other objects that we create.
Yeah, as long as it's in edit mode, they're going to take the same one. I mean, we can apply multiple as well, but yeah, if I add a crate, anything cubic, you see it has the texture, but it's not projected right, so we just redo our projection with that new box selected, cube projection. And now we have a crate on a crate. I can do a crate on a crate on a crate. UV, cube project. So, good for cubic things. If you have a perfectly square texture, it's going to project on well. That is an Earth cube, planet cube. So yeah, just like last week where you could assign different colors, you can create new slots, a little plus.
Now do flat Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real. No, I'm cube Earth. There, flat Earth. It's real. Anyway, just ways of putting together cubic shapes, and when we come back after the break, we'll look at unwrapping a texture that has a little bit more geometry to it. So, save your file, and we'll take our short break now. Cup of tea.